Good morning. We're going to continue looking at some of the attributes of God, and this morning I want to mention the attribute of sovereignty. Sovereignty. In many ways, it's the natural consequence of the idea that He is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, and that He is unchanging. It gives way to the reality that God is sovereign, meaning He is in complete and utter control of all things. Now, that means that He causes or permits all things, but nothing happens that God somehow is incapable of stopping, incapable of interacting with, that He is not in some way able to steer and direct and control. That's really important. It's not intended to be a kind of cold doctrine, a stoic reality that somehow makes God feel aloof from us. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's the reminder that there's never anything that happens to us that is outside the care of God. It means that everything that happens to us has a kind of place in a whole eternal framework. It's His sovereignty that brings meaning to suffering. It's His sovereignty that gives hope in difficulty. A couple of verses about His sovereignty. Psalm 135, verses 5 and 6 read, "For I know that the Lord is great, and that our Lord is above all gods. Whatever the Lord pleases, He does, in heaven and on earth, in the seas and all deeps." He does whatever He pleases. Our struggle with sovereignty is often that we're not sure about His character. And so if He does what pleases Him, does that mean it's arbitrary? Does that mean that we're somehow at the whims of God? If we understand God's character in relation to His sovereignty and His goodness in relation to His sovereignty, then we understand, then we begin to comprehend that the God who acts and controls all things always does so in a manner that is out of His good pleasure, and we can trust His sovereign character to act in a way that is both for our good and for His glory, and brings ultimate benefit to His master plan in that way. Ephesians 1:11 says, "In Him we have obtained an inheritance, having been predestined according to the purpose of Him who works all things according to the counsel of His will." He has a purpose, and He brings all things around according to the counsel of His will. So what I want you to do today is rest in the fact that there's nothing that's going to happen on the doorstep of your day that somehow is going to astonish God or will not be pregnant with meaning, because God is in control. And you can rest in that. Even in things that we don't understand, you can rest in the fact that there is a God who understands and has our little microcosm wrapped up in His macrocosmic story. Have a wonderful day.